And welcome back. American Institute for Stuttering is a not-for-profit whose mission is actually to provide universally affordable state-of-the-art speech therapy to people of all ages who actually stutter, as well as guidance to their families, and then also much needed clinical training to speech professionals wishing to gain expertise in the field of stuttering. And their mission extends to advancing public and scholarly understanding that are often misunderstood with this disorder. And so, joining us to share a little bit more about this discussion and have some discussion about stuttering is the American Institute of Stuttering Director and the head of the New York office, Dr. Heather Grossman, and also the clinical director at American Institute of Stuttering, coming to us from Atlanta, Georgia, Clark Herder. And thank you both for joining us here on Open.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, listen, let me start off with this. We know that stuttering is a disorder that actually affects about 3 million Americans. And with 3 million Americans actually dealing with this, it's more than just stuttering that people deal with. And from what I understand, depression are one of the things that come with it. So share with us a little bit about the actual emotions and things that accompany people who have stuttering.
Sure. People often write stuttering off as somewhat of a minor nuisance, so to speak, when in reality it really affects so much of a person's thinking, decision making. As you said, very often there's negative emotions such as shame, anger, like as you said, getting depressed over it, because frankly it still tends to be stigmatized. Even though the country is so open about inclusion, stuttering is still very much misunderstood. It's often mocked in the media. Children often make fun of other children who stutter, and that tends to lead to a lot of emotional scars, which leads a person to spend a lot of their life trying to hide it, changing words, avoiding speaking to people, avoiding jobs where they feel they might have to speak too much. So it becomes almost this cycle of constantly avoiding living their life for fear of other people hearing their stutter. And it becomes quite a burden for many people.
And can you do a little bit of a favor for us, Clark? Explain to people what exactly is stuttering, because I think we see it, we can definitely recognize it, but how is it actually defined?
Like Heather was getting at, a lot of people think that it's a simpler problem than it is, and a lot of people think that it's a problem that's brought on by anxiety and stress, and that everybody stutters. In reality, stuttering is something that occurs due to genetic, biological, neurological origins, and so we do see it run in families. And in the experience of stuttering generally, in the experience of speaking, people who stutter tend to either repeat words, prolong words, get stuck blocking on words, and struggle with the forward flow of speech. But like Heather was saying, it's far more complex than just the speech disfluencies they experience. Speech is a very public experience, and so stuttering can be a very observable and very difficult thing to deal with in front of others.
But also share with me of this problem, because I know that if you're dealing with it and you're trying to actually, get some help, from what I understand, finding a therapist and finding somebody that actually can help you with this is not an easy task. I think there's only 200 therapists across the United States?
Well, there are actually thousands of speech pathologists around the United States. The problem is that when you go to graduate school, you become certified, you get your master's degree, and you're considered a generalist in speech language pathology. And honestly, stuttering is so different. I've been a speech pathologist for so many years and have worked with people, across the lifespan with different speech language difficulties. And treating stuttering is so very, very different, because it is one of the few speech language problems that we work with that I really do feel, I know this from the research, that you can harm someone. Improper therapy can actually create emotional scars, which can actually create the struggle of stuttering, make it worse. So most people who are getting treated for stuttering are children, because children stutter with a much greater frequency than adults, about 5 times, at least as 5 times many children stutter as adults. And they tend to be seen in school by generalists who tend to do very outdated, somewhat traditional types of techniques, which, Carl and I at the Institute have seen for years how many people come in literally in a worse place than they would have been because the therapy that they received was so poor. So the 200 number is the number of people who have actually gone through specialty training and a board certification process to become board certified specialists. And to your point, 200 is obviously woefully inadequate to treat the number of people who stutter in the United States. So most of them are being treated by people who do not have the specialized training. It would almost be like if you had a skin disorder and you went to a veterinarian. They would do the best that they could, and they would know a lot about skin, but they wouldn't know a lot about human skin, and that would be a little bit of a problem. So it's that kind of a thing.
And Carl, tell me about, right now, because you're in Atlanta, of course, and I know that we've gone through our share of stuff here in New York, but when we talk about Atlanta, we know that they're, shutting down doors. So I know virtual starts to be the order of the day for most of America, but there is virtual therapy that's available, correct?
Yeah, and at AIS, we've been offering online therapy for more than 10 years. And so for us in New York and in Atlanta, we've been able to expand our services online to all of the folks who were seeing us in person pretty quickly and easily. And we've honestly been busier at both offices. And when I say New York and Atlanta, we're offering services to a much broader group than that because of the online services that we do. So it's really nationwide and sometimes in an international spread that we have and the people that we're seeing, because the work that we do tends to be talk therapy. And so we can do that like we're doing today online quite easily.
Yeah. And so I do understand that AIS also offers scholarships for people. So talk a little bit about the scholarship process that's available for those who may need it.
Yeah, I'm so proud of the amount of people that we're able to serve who I know would not be able to afford our services normally. And that's what's so incredible. So we are a non-for-profit. We run a yearly gala, and we have very, very, very generous individual supporters, corporate supporters. We have a wonderful board. Our board is very dedicated. Many of them are people who stutter or have children who stutter. And we raise money that's specifically put aside in a fund to help people who cannot afford therapy. Often therapy takes months, or for some people even years, because it is really deconstructing negative thoughts, and it could be years and years, a lifetime of negative thoughts about stuttering, and it can become expensive. So our scholarship fund allows people to basically say what they can afford, and unlike a lot of financial assistance programs where it's incredibly strict, and if you make over a certain amount, you're not eligible. We're totally different. We realize that living in and around New York or Atlanta, or frankly anywhere at this point, it's so damn expensive. And something like therapy often for many people becomes a luxury. We do not want it to be that. We want it to be something that anyone can afford. And our program is really different because we really work with you. And, if you can frankly only afford $20 a session, that's what you get. So, and I really feel bad that there are many people who feel, I really could use the services, but I would never qualify, and, it would be too much of a hassle. We make it easy, and we really do want to help people. We're not just saying that. We really do.
Well, for people who do want to get assistance, I know that, there may be someone who's out there watching right now says, listen, I do want to tap in. I do want to take advantage of the services that are available. How could they go about doing that?
We've got our financial assistance information is easily accessible on our website. There's an easy application process. It's not super complex, and it allows our services to be truly accessible to people all over.
Well, Carl and Heather, we got to thank you so much for being with us. Got to leave it there, but I think that we've got some information out there. Hopefully, people get connected and find out a little bit more. And certainly, if they didn't find out a little bit more in this segment, I know that they can definitely go to the website and be able to do that. Thank you so much for being with us here on Open.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Be here.
Thank you. Thank you. And once again, if you do want more information about this, well, all you have to do is visit their website. And the website is stutteringtreatment.org. Once again, stutteringtreatment.org. And I want you to stay with us because guess what? We do have more Open coming up. We're going to be right back right after this.